Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion. Plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. We had a great run last time. Good Polyphemus. This one, I mean, it's a great start. We start with Cricket's Head and a great rate of fire. How about that? 8WQB, 8VLY. I'm not a coward. I'll take it. That's fine. These are really, really good stats, dude. And check this out. This is gonna start the whole thing popping off. We're hitting next level strategies. Any second now, we're going to sneak that last shot in there and nothing of value was gained. Okay, anyway. It's a very, very great start. It's not as good as our previous run by the end, but we are on the first room that has actual combat, so I'll consider it a pretty big positive thus far. We do have a tinted rock. Just keep that in the audit file for the future. It's a little spooky. Look at that. Now we can clear it off the books. It's just that simple. How's everybody doing out there? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. It is indeed still Monday, Labor Day. It is it's wild to think that this would have been PAX West weekend were it not for COVID. I got some vindication, though. Because, like, you know, we found out in, like, late January that Kate was pregnant. And we were talking about, you know, this is really the explosion of Corona. And we were like, you know, do you think we'll go to PAX this year? And I was doing the math, and I was like, I'm pretty sure, like, we literally probably could. Like, I don't think the baby will have arrived. But, you know, simultaneously, you might not want to, being, you know, 9 months pregnant, essentially. And she was like, no, I think, like, honestly, just to get out of the house would be nice. So we'll probably end up going. And then, you know, this week, or this weekend, I should say, Kate was like, you were right. The three sweetest words in the English language. She was like, I'm glad we didn't end up going, because I'm pretty sure I would have ended up, like, in an American hospital or something like that. Not that an American hospital is, you know, not state-of-the-art with respect to its, you know, mechanical skill and, you know, devices and stuff like that. But, you know, financially speaking, not really an optimal situation. But either way, I told you so. Because the thing is, you never have to I told you so. That's why I told you so is such BM. Anytime that you think you should say I told you so, the other person already knows that you have got yourself in a position where you can say I told you so. And as a result, you get more power out of not saying it. It's my hunch, because you know, you're not embarrassing the other person. But I was like, I know. I thought as much. Not that she doesn't get a lot of I told you so opportunities on me as well. But yeah, it's the first PAX that okay. You know what, go ahead and take it, honestly. Maybe you can give me a quick key or something like that. It's the first PAX West that I have not gone to since 2012. And you might think that, you know, I think some people might be, like, melancholy about it. But I've, for a while now, had a hunch, like, alright, you better give me a key. That's all I'm saying. He did indeed. I've had the hunch that, like, you know, I don't dislike going. It's fun to see people, especially that I only see, like, once a year. But, you know, it's, like, a lot of money, and also, like, you leave it as kind of a vacation, not really feeling rested because you're doing stuff all weekend. And, honestly, I feel pretty vindicated right now. I'm like, it's not that I don't miss it. It's not like I'm happy it's not happening. But I'm like, rather than having any kind of, like, FOMO at all, I'm just, like, well-rested. I feel good. I know it sounds boring. I try to tell people, you know. It's not that I'm, like, a boring guy. I just think that, like, I've had enough times in my life that were, I don't want to say fun, because that gives off the wrong impression. But, like, that part of con life in my life, I think, is basically over. I've been to enough of them. It's not like I dislike fun. It's more just like, you know what? I've eaten too much of the fun, and now I've got fun in reserve, and we gotta burn off some of those fun lipids. You know, we can live off of our fun storage through a long winter here. That's what I'm trying to say. And somebody retweeted a quote that I said a long time ago that I still think is one of the funniest things I've ever said, and also very true. I don't have FOMO. I maybe as when I was younger I had FOMO. Now I have the opposite. I have phobia. Not the fear of missing out, but the fear of being included. The fear of being invited and having to say no, because I'm like, you know, hold on, this is a big one. I think we do want it, but it's a little spice. We should try to also get a demon heart or something if possible. Cane being conception is good, but it's not good enough right now. And I guess we might as well take this for the mom transformation, but otherwise we're out. Although, now that hold on, can we get Greed's Gullet, maybe? You know what? You're gonna laugh. With my bomb, I'm not gonna get Greed's Gullet, even if I could. Just because I don't know how it works. And this is way, way, way too cowardly. However, just hear me out here. I'm worried that I could base my HP, or my understanding of what my HP is, on Greed's Gullet, spend money, and accidentally die. I don't think it can happen, but it's one of those things where I'm just like, it just ain't worth the squeeze right now, for me. I genuinely do not think that's how it works, but still. So I'm kind of like, I'm happy to be at home, honestly. Trust me, I've been on the other side of it. You know, especially like, you know, coming into university and you know, well, basically the entire university career. There was potential FOMO, you know, if something cool was going down and I was either not included or couldn't be a part of it, then I was like, you know, I feel the FOMO. You'll get over it, I think. I honestly, I don't feel comfortable because everybody's different, right? I don't feel comfortable saying that FOMO is something you're gonna grow out of, because I think, you know, there are situations even still where, like, instead of getting FOMO about like a party or an event or something like that, now I'm more likely to get FOMO of like, oh, there was this cool, you know, sponsored opportunity or a, you know, cool tournament or something that I didn't get invited to. Like, there's the FOMO. Even then, it's pretty low, honestly. But I think if you get heavy FOMO, it'll change over time. Honestly, I think I mean, or it could change over time at least. That's my experience with it. Eventually, you might reach a point where you're so, you know, you've had so many times where you were not missing out that you're like, you know what? I would feel like I was missing out if I didn't miss out. I don't know what I'm talking about, but anyway. This was supposed to be PAX weekend. I am feeling like 0% of the supposed grind, maybe you could say, of not being there. Feeling zero melancholy. Could you stop hitting me, please? I'm happy with our speed upgrade. Help! This shouldn't be spicy because Maw of the Void is great, but we do need to actually, like, have it work for us occasionally. I will say there is one thing that I miss about it, and it's not really a PAX thing. It's more about like a it's just I mean, a quarantine thing, more or less. You know, not having really an easy ability to take like a few days off here or there, because even like PAX is, you know, one of the largest or longest times that I spend away in the average year, and it's literally like 3 days. I think we will blow this up. I mean, it's more than 3 days. No, I need the money, dude. But, you know, it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and the Monday's Labor Day, so you're really taking like Thursday, Friday off. Saturday, Sunday is just a normal human weekend. But yeah, I kind of, not really to a large extent. I'm pretty resilient when it comes to stuff like this, but you know, not having a couple of opportunities a year to kind of break up the grind of working. Luckily, the grind is pretty smooth, but it is something that's like the #1 thing from quarantine that I'm missing. You know, you could take time off, but like, you know, if you're taking time off, but you're just kind of let me put it this way, all right? Because it's a scattered thought. I got nothing against a staycation, you know? I'm a homebody for sure. But when you play video games in your house for a living, you know, when it comes time to, you know, take some time off, I think it would be worse for my psyche if I just, like, took a week off and I'm like, I'm gonna play NHL 20. I think it's much better to, like, get out and go do something elsewhere, which is, you know, not really capable of doing right now. So I am looking forward to, at some point in the future, that coming back. Although, obviously, our lives, in all likelihood, will look a lot different by the time that comes to pass. Looking forward to it nonetheless. Getting back to that sort of stuff, but, you know, we can be, who knows? I think we want this. Take me down to the next floor. Let me caffeinate here. You do feel very recharged after some time away, that's for sure. But I'm here to tell you, you know, I don't know if the culture shifting or if I'm just like older, but when I was like just getting started in the business, cons were like, because you base your model of like what's cool and what's not cool on the people that you think are cool that are slightly older than you at that age, right? So, you know, when I was just getting involved, I was like, oh, dude, all the YouTubers, all the streamers, all the angry reviewers go to these conventions, and they look like they're having so much fun. I gotta go to the conventions. And then I went to them, and I was like, these are pretty fun. And then, like, I went to them again, and I was like, I'm having an okay time. And then I go to them, you know, my late 20s and early 30s, and I'm like, I miss my bed. I want my bed. I took that pill just to get it out of the floor, because I know we're gonna have to walk by it. That doesn't justify it completely, but you might not be a convention person, honestly. So I don't mean to suggest that conventions are not worth your time. There's a lot of people who are just insanely into conventions, and like they look forward to, you know, the Emerald City or Comic-Con or you know, any of the PAXs or multiples of the PAXs year over year. You know, I'm like a once a year sort of guy, and I'm okay with it, but definitely by the time I leave, I'm like, I'm done. I'm not suggesting those people, oh, that's a good one, are incorrect. You know, I think it's just different strokes for different folks. But if you've been to a convention and you're like, this isn't really for me, and is something wrong with me? I think the answer is no, you know? There's a lot to like. Particularly, you know, especially as you get older, you get less opportunities to see friends of yours, especially if they live far away, so having an easy opportunity like that is awesome. But also, you know, I think as you get older, maybe you have a little bit more self-respect, and you're like, why am I... why am I standing on my feet for 12 hours a day just to play the new Zombie U remaster, you know? Not that there's anything wrong with Zombie U. I'm just, you know, eventually you kind of hit like a little nihilist viewpoint, I guess, on games where you're like, I'm not saying games have got nothing new to offer. I'm more just like, you know, I can wait for it to actually come out. I don't think I need to play Far Cry 6, you know, for 20 minutes, 4 months before it actually comes out. I can just wait for the actual launch day. That's fine. All right, so we want, you know what? Let's check this real quick. That was actually an insanely lucky turn of events there. 2 demon hearts for me. We want Lump of Coal. We didn't even use our Alga's room, which was the whole reason we brought it in here to begin with. But I actually think we will take Krampus's head. It's a little bit more up my alley. And we'll take growth hormones as well. Anyway, that's the thoughts about conventions I have that nobody asked for. I think there's like a PAX range. I can't speak for other conventions, so this, be careful, this is our XL floor, or not our XL floor, but Depths 2. I think there's like a PAX age range. You know, I think between the ages of like 20 and 30 is a great place to be. I would not take a child under the age of probably like 12 to PAX, just because, you know, you're on your feet a lot, it's loud, it's a little stinky. There's tons of people. And you're, like, it's kind of like, I don't know. You know, I'll tell you, my least favorite part of PAX, dude, and I'm sure this happens at every convention, is just walking around. It's a very minor complaint, I understand. It was a minor complaint, you know, in 2013. It's an extremely minor complaint in 2020. But, like, just walking from point A to point B is impossible. Because there's, A, so many people. All of them are wearing, like, military-style backpacks with 12 loaves of bread and 2 kilograms of peanut butter in them. And then, people will, like, literally... Like, you know the classic, like, they're holding the backpack straps... But then when they see something, they'll whip around at like Mach 500 and smack you in the face with the backpack. Like, it happens like 4 or 5 times a day. Just locomoting is occasionally frustrating. Anyway, I'm not trying to oh, my semi-charmed kind of life is so good that minor inconveniences seem major to me. It's not really like that. I mean, you are paying to be there, you know? The whole thing should take place on moving walkways. I think we need nothing. I'm going to try to, yeah, give back to my donation machine a touch and maybe give me one of those. Now we can go fight the boss. We do have tarot cloth, so a good card could be worth a lot. It was not a good card there, but that's okay. Anyway, that's my thoughts on PAX. If you were waiting for something more wistful, it's not really coming, but I do feel for people who, like, you know, it's their vacation every year and they get very excited about it and couldn't make it. You know, the conventions mean a lot more to other people than they do to me sometimes, and, you know, the same goes, you know, vice versa. You know, if Audible removed all of the great courses, I would be like, this is ridiculous. Why is nobody rising up with me? So I understand, you know, it's like they said in the TV show, the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you might not be right for some. Yo, that's exactly what we needed. Or wanted, at least. Okay, guess I'll be going this way, then. Huge plays. I just wanted to come back, yeah, to get that, and then we'll leave, I think. And this is another, like, really, really easy run. This one's pretty much set. Let me go, please. I have passed the requirements necessary. Let me go. We will not be doing boss rush because I have self-respect in 2020. We're trying out something new. It's called self-respect, sweetheart. And we'll be moving on. But yeah. I honestly, like, I consider myself lucky. And I think that the natural kind of proclivity for people is to believe, like, you know how many times you hear the expression, like, oh, I'm not like other people, I'm built different. I've been guilty of saying it myself as well, but honestly, I think part of the reason that I, you know, don't suffer from as much burnout as other content creators, despite working, you know, at a comparable level, to put it politely, I think, like, I just really genuinely, you know, I don't think you can fake liking what you do. And I think most YouTubers and streamers like what they do, but occasionally they get maybe a little bit disproportionately more ground down than I do, or than some other content creators do as well, because I don't think I'm perfect with it. And you know, eventually it gets to them and they're like, I need to take some time off. So don't get me wrong, I'm missing the occasional, you know, visit back with my parents, but at the same time, you know, if you ask me, like, how long could you do this? You know, if quarantine lasted for, like, another, you know, indeterminate length of time, how long would it take until you needed to take, like, a real vacation? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. Indeterminate right now. Not to say I wouldn't jump at the opportunity, given the chance, but I kind of feel like I'm in a good rhythm right now. And if anything, I actually mentioned this, like, last Tuesday's stream, but if anything, you know, I'm not naive about the fact that, you know, obviously having a kid's going to be a lot of work. But I am looking forward to, like, whatever we're going to take for paternity leave for myself. You know, just because it's not really a vacation in the sense that it's like a life of leisure, but, you know, it is an opportunity to vacation from the most exhausting part of the job, which for me is not really the duty of the job. It's, you know, everything surrounding it. It's like not really being me as a human being, but instead like being the YouTuber me. If that makes sense. Like the most exhausting part of the job for me is, well, I mean, A, dealing with like a platform holder that doesn't really have a lot of respect for creators, in my opinion, and I think you guys can figure out which one that is for yourself. And most of the time, that's more just like kind of banal, you know? It's more just like, oh, they made a decision that literally no creator on the platform ever would have signed off on, but sure. And then, you know, the other part of it is like, you know, I'm working like maybe 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on the average day. And, you know, then I'm like, whew, I'm done. And then I'll get a tweet like right before bed that's like, you know, hey NL. And I'm like, I'm not NL right now. It's not your fault for tweeting me, by the way. But like, don't, you know, when I see those kind of tweets like right before bed, even if they're nice, I'm like, you know. I appreciate that it's a compliment, and I don't take it for granted at all. But I'm also like, it's gonna be nice to have like some time where I'm just like a dude, instead of 24 hours a day being like a kind of on-call internet personality. And again, the juice is very much worth the squeeze. I'm thankful for what I do, and every job has its own frustrations. In the whole scheme of things, this one is insanely minor. But it is gonna be nice, for sure. And also, like, probably quite sleepy. But nice. Anyway. And who knows? You know, maybe it's already begun by the time you're watching this video. My Isaac backlog is not very large. Like, it's, no thank you. It's like, probably just over a week right now. I've mentioned this in a lot of different places, but maybe not in Isaac, so I'll do it again. Sometimes people, they assume that, like, your backlog, or my backlog, I should say, is huge, because, like, oh, you're getting ready for the baby. I'm burning, like, the midnight oil just to do the content that you see on, like, a daily/weekly basis. The backlog is not that big. I took the approach, you know, for the first time in my life, basically, that it is not plausible for me to create a backlog that big. Moreover, even if I could, it would like ruin a couple of months in advance for me. Like I would be a useless husband and be doing nothing around the house except you know, recording Isaac videos, which I don't even want to do because it's going to destroy my throat as well. And then on top of that, I was like, you know, it's not really, you know, I understand the counter argument here. You got to knock out the mortgage. But it's not really fair to my pregnant wife, you know, to be like, hey, honey, hope you enjoyed seeing me, you know, for the first 6 months, because now I got to go into my bunker and record Isaac videos. So the reality of the situation is that, you know, for a period of time, post-labor, post-birth, you know, I'll be tweeting and stuff like that. Not that that's what you're around for. But don't expect many videos. Like, don't expect an Isaac video per day is the minimum, and everything else is gravy. My suggestion to you is, and we're taking all of these because these are good eats right here. My suggestion to you is, for a little bit, expect nothing, and whatever you get, consider it a bonus. Not that you should feel grateful, but you know, just don't go into it thinking like, oh, there's at least there's still gonna be Isaac while he's gone. Excuse me, free me, please, because that is it's not the case, you know? And it is what it is. Honestly, I'm looking forward to it. Like, it will be the end of Daily Isaacs temporarily. And big ups to Ed. Thank you, Ed, for not releasing the DLC in conjunction with my child's birth, which I understand is also right around the time of his second child's birth, which just happened maybe like a month ago. So I guess it's not like he did it for me, but I'm thankful nonetheless. Now, if only Nintendo could delay that Super Mario Battle Royale, and maybe not delay it, but just release it, you know, right now, like 2 weeks early, or you know, a month early. But it's honestly like, I don't think I need to ask the community for understanding. I think they get it, right? I think you get it. But it really will be like the first time for like the past almost decade that I haven't been like a YouTuber every single day. Even like we've taken time off in the past, don't get me wrong, but you know, taking the time off in the past has also sometimes necessitated, or at least I felt like it necessitated, creating like a backlog, which is basically like, you know, for 2 weeks you work 1.5 weeks and then you take 1 week off, which is actually like pretty sweet, and I'm not complaining, because it means that, you know, it's basically a paid vacation that also allows you the benefits of the vacation to begin with. But it's like we haven't had like a true sort of like clean break for a little bit. So that's, in case it was not understandable, that's why I'm like, stoked is not maybe the word I would use, but that's why I'm kind of excited for having the opportunity to do almost like a YouTube detox for a little bit. And the second thing is, like, you know, I know there have been YouTubers that are like, I'm taking a break, and then they like never come back. I'm not cut from that cloth. I'm gonna be, for like a few weeks, I'm sure I'm gonna be like, you know, enjoying it, but then I'm gonna start jonesing. I jones on like vacation. You ever wonder why they call it jonesing? Jonesing is like you got like a heavy craving or an eager attitude to get back to something, almost like uncontrollable. I wonder, like, one of the first in the English language, there just happened to be like one guy named Jones who was like really he was eager to, you know, he's like, I'm jonesing for that ham. I don't know, maybe it wasn't ham, but you get what I'm getting at. Anyway. Sorry, I wasn't trying to, like, minimize the import of the discussion in advance of that. I'm just saying. So that's my philosophy on that. But I think, you know, I think it's important to set people's expectations. So yeah, like, around late September, early October is going to be a little interruption for sure. And, you know, don't take this the wrong way. But it's because, I mean, first off, taking, like, a month off for the birth of your child is very reasonable, for one. You know, pretty standard. And then secondarily, you know, don't take this the wrong way, but, you know, my firstborn child is more important than Isaac. Isn't that what you'd want your parents to say as well? I know there's like 2 people out there that are like, no, as a joke. But like, if you're not joking, come on. I know, I know what's up. I mean, you gotta admit, like, you know, when we did the Twitch Chat Choice Awards, the ruse that we propagated made it to the top of live stream fails, but as a win, which I was very thankful for. And I was reading the comments, because, you know, I'm not a narcissist, but it's nice to see nice things written about you. People were like, this guy, you know, I've been watching NL for a while, and he's one of my favorite streamers on the platform just because he's so aggressively normal. And I was like, you know what? This is the nicest thing anyone's ever said about me. But for now, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time. See ya!